All right, today we are diving deep into a company you probably think you know, but maybe don't really know. We're talking about Block Inc. It's a fascinating story about ecosystems, raw ambition, and one massive wildcard. Let's get into it.
So, I want to kick things off with a big question because Block is just such an interesting case. Is this the most misunderstood company in tech? I mean, it's a household name, but analysts will tell you people just don't get the full picture. You've got the celebrity founder, Jack Dorsey, and this deep, deep commitment to Bitcoin that tends to color everyone's perception. So let's try to figure it out. When I say Block, your mind probably jumps to one of two things. Either that little white square reader that lets your local coffee shop take your credit card, or you think of Cash App for sending $20 to a friend. And hey, you're not wrong, but that's just scratching the surface. The real story, the one we're going to unpack, is how these pieces fit into something much, much bigger. To really get what Block is today, we have to go back. We have to look at how it all started. See, the company wasn't built on just one good idea, but on what its co-founder calls an innovation stack. And that concept is absolutely key to their DNA. The story kicks off like a classic Silicon Valley legend. Back in 2008, a real-world problem sparks a eureka moment. By 2009, Square is officially born. Then, just a few years later, a little hackathon project spins out and becomes the monster hit we know as Cash App. And fast forward to 2021, the company rebrands itself as Block, a name that signals its ambitions are way bigger than just that first little white reader. And this quote right here from co-founder Jim McKelvey, it gets to the very heart of why the company even exists. He was a gloss artist trying to sell his work, and he lost a $2,000 sale. Why? Simply because he couldn't take a credit card. This wasn't some theoretical business plan cooked up in a boardroom. It was a real painful problem for millions of small businesses. And that's the problem Square was built to solve. Okay, so this brings us to this really core concept, the innovation stack. It's not just one brilliant invention. It's a whole chain of them, all interlocked, working together. This is the secret sauce. It's exactly why Square won, even when a giant like Amazon came after them. Remember back in 2014, Amazon launched a cheaper version of the Square Reader? But they couldn't copy the whole system, the super easy sign-up, the software, all the other services. And a year later, Amazon just gave up. They literally mailed Square Readers to their own customers. That's the power of an innovation stock. All right, so that was the foundation. That was the past. Let's jump to today. Because now, that stack has evolved into a massive, two-sided engine. And the company has a brand new, razor-sharp focus on profit. The Block of today is really dominated by these two giant ecosystems. On one side, you've got Square. It's not just about payments anymore. It's the whole toolkit for a small business. Payroll, banking, marketing, you name it. Then, on the other side, you have Cash App. It's a full-blown money app for all of us consumers. It's your bank account, your way to pay friends, and your way to buy stocks in Bitcoin. They are two sides of the very same economy. And is this two-sided engine powerful? Yeah. Just look at this number. In the second quarter of 2025 alone, Block pulled in a staggering $2.5 billion in gross profit. This isn't some scrappy startup anymore. This is a financial heavyweight. But it's not just about the raw size, right? It's about the acceleration. Gross profit is growing at a healthy 14% year over year. But look at the adjusted operating income. It's rocketing up 38%. Management has been very clear about this. They've pivoted to disciplined, profitable growth. And you can see it right here in the numbers. It is working. And this all ties into their new obsession, something called the Rule of 40. This is basically a quick health check for top-tier software companies. You just add your growth rate to your profit margin. If that number is over 40, you're considered elite. You're balancing fast growth with strong profitability. And Block has publicly committed to hitting this mark. So how are they doing? Where do they stand right now? They're at 36. That's their 14% growth plus their 22% margin. They are right there, knocking on the door of that elite club. It shows a whole new level of maturity that the market is definitely paying attention to. Okay, past, check. Present, check. Now for the part of the story that gets people really talking and, frankly, a little confused. Let's get into the future. Let's talk about the Bitcoin wildcard. This quote from Jack Dorsey,
It says it all. You have to understand the ambition here is just off the charts. This isn't about letting you buy a little Bitcoin on Cash App. No. This is a fundamental long-term bet on building the actual plumbing for what they believe will be the internet's own money. And this is a really, really crucial distinction to make. Block isn't trying to be a crypto speculator. They're positioning themselves to be an industrial player. They want to build the picks and shovels for this whole new gold rush. And specifically, that means they're getting into the tough business of actually making Bitcoin mining hardware. So how on earth can they compete in a market that's already dominated by a couple of huge Chinese companies? Well, this is where their strategy gets really clever. First, they're based in the US, which instantly lowers the geopolitical risk for any Western miners. But the real kicker? It's the tech. Block is building their systems on cutting-edge 3-nanometer chips. Their competitors? They're still on the previous generation's 4-nanometer tech. That's a huge potential advantage. And the prize they're going after? It's huge. The yearly market for just the mining rigs is estimated to be around $6.5 billion. If Block can capture even a slice of that, it's a massive new business for them. And Jack Dorsey? He's gone on record saying he thinks they can capture the majority of it. So what does Wall Street think about all this? Well, because this whole venture is so new and so audacious, many analysts believe its potential is getting zero credit in Block's current stock price. They call it a free call option. Basically, it's a bet on a gigantic potential upside that you're not really paying for today. It is a true high-stakes, high-reward wildcard. So, after looking at the past, the present, and this wild potential future, let's try to bring it all home. What is Block, really? You can really think of it as a company in 3 acts. Its past was defined by that innovation stack, which gave it an almost unbeatable head start. Its present is all about that powerful and increasingly profitable two-sided engine of Square and Cash App. And its future? Well, that could be completely rewritten by its massive bet on the Bitcoin wildcard. Which brings us right back to that big question. On one hand, you have this stable, disciplined giant focused on profit and hitting that rule of 40. But on the other hand, you have this wild, revolutionary ambition to build the future of money on the internet. So which is it? Is Block a mature, disciplined company, or is it a revolutionary that's just getting started? Maybe the most interesting answer is that it's both. Thanks for tuning in.